All right, guys, welcome back to another market recap. It is the 11th of April. Okay, so for the week, we had the S&P rose about 2.71%. The Dow added another 1.96%, and the Nasdaq gained another 3.12%. Another winner for the week was actually Alphabet. Their stock rose on Friday, pretty much outperforming the market. So pretty much a good week for the tech side of things. Even Apple rose up 2%. So the tech stocks did pretty well for last week. Now, the biggest question that we're going to be looking at, a lot of talks in regards to inflation. They're looking at inflation to be poised to soar about 3% by June. Is almost a guarantee, and they're looking towards more like a year-on-year inflation instead of this massive inflation that's going to be all popped up at once. It's not really going to occur like that, but we are going to be expecting a year-on-year inflation. So if we go back and we have a look here, you can see that the US Treasury Yield, we're getting a slight little downtrend. However, on closing on Friday, it did raise about 3%. We are going to start seeing a little bit of choppiness occurring in this region. In fact, most likely next week, you could see this trend going down. The reason for that is the US government is actually auctioning off some more Treasury bonds into the market. Now, what is interesting is the following week, this is next week now, a new wave will add to that 120 billion US dollars in supply, with a 24 billion US dollar sale of 20-year debt, according to analyst estimates. The week after that, strategists forecast the Treasury will sell another 183 billion US dollars of securities, with 60 billion US dollars coming in 2-year notes, another 61 billion US dollars in 5-year debts, and 62 billion US dollars at the 7-year mark. Now, what's interesting, that brings the total supply for the month to an all-time record of 373 billion US bonds that are going to be auctioned off for the month of April. This is quite extraordinary. Now, it further says, given the enormous amounts of supply continuing to hit the market every month, every Treasury auction should be viewed as a risk event. The problem is this is it's too much too soon. I mean, that's a huge volume of auctions. I don't know how the market's going to react to that, whether they're going to snap it up pretty quickly, or it might actually have quite a negative effect on bonds themselves. Now, this is going to play a little bit of havoc. So if we go here, with regards to the US 10-year Treasury Yield, and again, with the bond market, what's going to be happening out there. So we might even look at starting off on Monday, going into the red in terms of, bonds. This could also attack what's going to be happening in the market itself, like your stock markets. So the opening day could potentially be quite volatile. It just depends how, the market's going to react to these auctions. So I am expecting a bit of volatility happening next week. So it's something to look out for. But yeah, it's unprecedented amount of auctioning of the bond. And as you know, the bond is way bigger than the stock market. And whatever happens in the bond market and the debt market ultimately affects the stock market itself. So you've got to be paying attention what's going to be happening there. But I do believe that the stocks are going to go higher itself. So even though we might have a little bit of turbulence or coming through from the bond market itself, I do believe that the stock market will continue to melt up itself. I mean, you got to remember, there's a whole bunch of stimulus that's going to be pumped out from the Fed, from Joe Biden's campaign to rebuild America's infrastructure, and trying to kickstart that economy. So there is massive influx of trillions coming into the market And again, that money will flow back into the stock markets, even crypto itself. So I do believe that the stock market will actually go higher and poise, probably by the end of the week, poise new highs. So, you got to look out for that, but just be aware of that mechanism of the auctions that are coming out. It's going to have a massive effect on the 10-year Treasury Yield. And again, this is they're trying to curb now inflation. That's the reason. This is why they're hitting these auctions out, and it is to try and curb the inflation. But as you can see, it's almost a certainty that the US economy is going to go into inflation, and this is going to affect the rest of the world. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, we are all tied globally. All the markets are really tied to the US markets. So if inflation happens there, you're going to see this ripple effect occurring to the rest of the world and their markets. So if we have a quick look, so I keep going here. If we go back, if we have a look and see what is happening with the commodity side of things, you'll notice silver down, still traveling into its channel here. So we're still going to see a bit of volatility there. Again, it all happens what is going to be occurring here at the 10-year Treasury Yield. As I explained in my previous video, there is an inverse correlation, particularly with gold and the US 10-year Treasury Yield. So if the 10-year Treasury Yield is going up, you're going to almost expect that the gold will go down. And also, with the dicks in that. So gold did struggle a bit during the course of the week, US dollar being stronger, and then also you got the 10-year Treasury Yield being stronger. And this is why you've seen slight negativity in terms of the gold itself. So also platinum got a little bit of a beating on Friday. So commodity is still okay in that sense, but again, what happens in the bond market and that choppiness, it's going to affect the commodities side of things, particularly your gold and silver and platinum to a certain extent. But platinum is traveling quite nicely in this upward channel, so probably you'll still see a little bit of downward trend, but looking at the support, it should look at bouncing up over the coming weeks. So again, just pay attention to platinum. I really like platinum as a trade, and it is doing really nicely in its uptrend. But let's see if this support line will hold. Otherwise, we could see quite a bit of a downturn for platinum. US oil also got hit pretty badly this week. And this had to do with a lot of fundamentals of what happened in the OPEC meetings. And, the virus that's plaguing Europe currently. So if we have a look here, you'll notice that crude demand outlook for Europe and emerging markets is still messy. And until optimism returns, oil prices could remain heavy. So oil is in for a choppy trade environment over the next couple of weeks. You've got Europe still grappling with, the virus plague, but another event is actually busy occurring. And this is a potential war between Russia and Ukraine, the eastern Ukraine. And this is all over territorial control over the Crimea. But that's kind of what's at play now. So there is the buildup of Russian troops in the border, and escalating rhetoric threatened to derail efforts to reach a peaceful settlement. Now, obviously, the US is going to be on eastern Ukraine side of thing in terms of this disputed territory. But, it's sad to say, but oil loves war. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to see some little skirmishes here. And this, again, is going to have some effect on oil. You're going to have a look and see what's happening in the Middle East as well. Iran is up to its tricks again. There could be some drone retaliations happening there. So, you got to just pay attention to these two regions, particularly what's happening with the escalating tensions between Russia and Ukraine, and then what is happening there in terms of Iran. Iran's not happy with their sanctions, and they are trying by all possible means to get these sanctions lifted up. So these are some of the criterias, catalysts that could potentially skyrocket oil. But oil is going to go up. Like I said, I keep explaining it, that oil has entered into its super bull cycle, 12-year super bull cycle. On the crypto side, there's an interesting event that's going to be happening, I think, at the end of this month. It's called the Texas A&M Bitcoin Conference. It is virtual. Obviously, if you're in the US and you're in Texas, you can attend live. Those seats apparently all sold out, but it is also virtual to anybody in the world. I think it's about $50 to attend this. So, but look at their guest of speakers, your Ray Dalio, Tim Draper. The list just keeps going on and on. So really nice caliber people. Michael Saylor, and it's all to discuss Bitcoin and the future of Bitcoin. So discussions will organize into areas including economic foundations, underlying technology, business and finance, law, policy, regulatory landscapes. So there is a host of people that's actually going to be attending this thing. If we have a look here, download the agenda. It looks like April the 16th. So Friday, yeah. So next week, Friday. So if you can attend to it, it's about $50. You should look at it. And that's for Friday and Saturday. One of the big movers that's upcoming, well, one of the most exciting events in the crypto space is obviously Coinbase. They will be looking to list the IPO. So we need to just pay attention to that, because that's going to end up having a bit of a positive effect on the crypto side. So again, we're going to expect cryptocurrency to keep going higher and higher. So Cryptocurrency Giant, which runs largest US Bitcoin exchange, plans to go public Wednesday. All right, so look out for that. And if you're keen to buy some shares into this, I'll probably look at it as well. I would actually be quite keen for that. So something to look forward to for this upcoming week. Again, I thought this was pretty cool. I did a thing on, the top 5 NFT marketplaces, and, one of them was on the soccer side of things. So in Europe, football NFTs and tokens are no fantasy. So the demand is just growing and growing and growing, particularly NFTs in the sporting arena. And this is looking to cross over into the US and also into South America, because South America is extremely big into the soccer or football scene. Another one, SEC begins review of Wisdom Tree Bitcoin ETF as active application hits 8. So there's 8 ETFs into the market currently for Bitcoin. This is fantastic news for Bitcoin. So it's only going to go up, to be honest with you. Like I said, there's just so many great fundamentals and promotion and talks about Bitcoin this week that's happening. This Bitcoin's only going to go up and up. So cryptocurrency is really looking good. It will continue to rise. The stocks will continue to rise. So again, just pay attention to the Dixie side as well. The dollar, I do feel that the dollar will come under pressure as well. Like I said, there's a lot of stimulus that's going to be pumped into the market from the Biden administration and from the Fed. It's going to have a bit of a negative effect on the Dixie, so it will come under a bit of pressure simply because of the flood of the dollar into the system. But then you've got the US 10-year Treasury Yield. It's going to be fascinating to watch the bond auctions, because it will affect this and how the market's going to react to those bond auctions, and whether people are going to be actually even interested in buying some of those auctions or all of those auctions. So that's what to look out for this week. I'm expecting a bit of turbulence this week, I'll be honest with you. All right, guys, so that's just my quick market recap and also what we're looking forward into next week. But otherwise, I hope you guys had a great weekend. This is Chris Trade. Peace out.